It's essentially a book on how to manipulate people, classics that's in a very accessible language, I believe. If not, then oops. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. So today I'm going to share with you some of the classics that I've hauled throughout like a few weeks ago, I guess. So these are them and they're sliding all over the place, but yeah. So lately I've really been into the classics, not saying that I've already read a lot of them for this year, but I am really interested in reading a lot of these classics. So the first one that I'm going to share with you is this little penguin classic, which is How to Use Your Enemies by Baltasar Gracian. So I read this when I was traveling to another island, and basically, I got this because this is a book that was made by a priest, like a Spanish priest in the 17th century, and I was so curious as to why he made this book and what's inside of it. And it's essentially a book on how to manipulate people. Honestly, I just treat this book as satire when I read it, so I'm around here, and it really is a book on how to manipulate people, and it's just so ironic and so funny to me that a priest wrote this. So if you want a good laugh and just if you need ways to manipulate people, I guess, I mean, don't, but if you need it, definitely pick this book up. And then another book that I'm reading at the moment is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and this is actually a book that I've seen Leonie from the book Leo talk about before, and I was so interested as well as to what's inside of this. So essentially this is Marcus Aurelius's journal entries, and this guy Marcus Aurelius is actually a Roman emperor, and he was the Roman emperor who had a co-emperor, if you get what I mean. So there were two of them, and I think he is known to be one of the intellectual emperors in the Roman Empire. And so he wrote these like passages while he was still alive. Obviously, it was a long time ago, and he didn't have any intention of publishing them. And yeah, so this really is just probably like his ideas, his musings about life, about ruling and everything else in his life. And so yeah, I read this last night. I'm on page Roman numeral 14, and it's still just an introduction of who Marcus Aurelius is. And so yeah, I hope I was able to say it correctly because I was super sleepy last night while I tried to read this book. But I'm very excited to actually reach the meditations part because I'm just in the introduction and I don't really want to skip it because then I feel like it's not good to skip it. So yeah, that's Meditations. Oh, and by the way, this video is probably going to be quite short, and I'm not an English literature student. I'm not any kind of literature student, so I just know their names, the people here. I don't really know much about like their importance in literature and their kind of how they are known. So I just did some research beforehand because then I would just hold up the book and I would be able to say nothing because I know nothing. You can say that this is a beginner's classics TBR, but also I did read a lot of classics when I was in high school, like Les Mis, Count of Monte Cristo. What else? It's actually there. So yeah. So the third book that I hauled is actually Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So this is the 1818 text. So I think this is the original version of Frankenstein. I don't know how it actually works, if people kind of just change the text. But anyway, I wanted this particular one because then I'd be able to say that I actually read Mary Shelley's work that she made. So Frankenstein, I really couldn't care less about Frankenstein when I was a kid, even a few years ago, but then I heard Noelle from Noelle Gallagher's channel and Emmy talk about Frankenstein and how just melancholy it is, and how you can really appreciate the human existence more. So I did want to read Frankenstein as well, and I think this is also one of the classics that's in a very accessible language, I believe. If not, then oops. So yeah, I originally actually wanted to buy a copy that's like this. I forgot what this is. Penguin English Library Classics? Not sure, but yeah. The Frankenstein one had hearts on it, but I couldn't find that, and I just saw this on at the bookstore, and I just grabbed it. And I also love this one. Kind of reminds me of Japanese art. Isn't it beautiful? It's really beautiful as well, so I just got this, and this is the 1818 one. So as I said, I kind of want the earlier versions of Frankenstein. And then this is a book that I actually bought with this one. So this was last year, and it was Persuasion by Jane Austen. I don't think I've read any Jane Austen before. Isn't Pride and Prejudice a Jane Austen novel? I don't really like Pride and Prejudice, so controversial. And if Emma is a Jane Austen novel, then that's probably my favorite Jane Austen. I'm not saying I've watched a lot of Jane Austen. I haven't even watched the Dakota Johnson one of this, although they say it's not true to the novel. But yeah, I'll probably read this first before I watch it, if I ever do. So this, I think this is said to be Jane Austen's most romantic novel, which was the thing that sold me to it, because I just want the romance. And yeah, don't know much about it actually. Hold on. Oh, so it's kind of like a second chance romance, because this girl rejected the guy's proposal 8 years ago, and then the guy reappears, and Anne must ask herself whether she made the right decision or allowed herself to be persuaded against her heart. Not sure, but still pretty exciting. I actually read a few pages of this before, until page 28. I probably was a little bit intimidated by the writing style, or I didn't vibe with it instantly, but I promise I will read this. And then I got more of the little black classic penguin things, and I got this by Matsuo Basho, which is Lips Too Chilled. I accidentally got two of them, which completely is my fault. But yeah, Matsuo Basho is said to be the greatest master of haiku, so I just was sold. I wanted to see what kind of haiku is it. Time to rewatch. If you know, you know. Anyway, Matsuo Basho, greatest master of haiku. I'm interested to read the work of the greatest master of haiku. I'm just, if you're gonna read it, read the best ones, I guess. So I'm very, very excited, and I'm very curious as to how it differs from other haiku. And then this is Kenko. Oh, I actually have some notes about this. So Kenko is Yoshida Kenko. That's the full name. And Yoshida Kenko is... I shouldn't say it in a Western accent. Yoshida Kenko. Okay. Yoshida Kenko is known for medieval Japanese literature and is a Buddhist monk. So this is a cup of sake beneath the cherry trees, and to be honest, I just really was enthralled by the title. It just sounds so good and interesting. And it says, like in the back, it says, Moonlight Spring Blossom, a woman's hair, a medieval Japanese monk, reflects on idle moments and life's fleeting joys. If there's anyone who would glorify and appreciate idleness more, it's a monk. So, I dream of being as calm as them and as idle as them. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very excited to read this as well. I've been saving it because they're so small and I just want to cherish them forever. And so yeah, that's a cup of sake beneath the cherry trees. And then I got 3 Collins classics yesterday. So I went to the mall with my mom and we went to the bookstore, which normally doesn't have anything, so there were no expectations coming into the bookstore. But then when we went inside, there were a lot of Collins classics and I was unhinged. I just was like, Collins classics are actually not my favorite because they are so like stiff. I remember I have Collins classics Jane Eyre, and by the middle of it, it hurt my hand. It's so stiff, but they are very cheap. You can get them for 125 pesos, 145 pesos, so they are a good deal and beggars can't be choosers. So I got 3 of them. And okay, the first one is Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. I just love darkness, so I got this. And since I don't know anything about this, I researched so that I would have anything of essence to share with you. So, Joseph Conrad is actually a writer who is known for his nautical theme. So this is also nautical in nature. So it's a journey on a ship, I think. A steamboat. Yes. And Joseph Conrad is also a sailor, but he is a writer who sails, not a sailor who writes. I saw that on the Wikipedia page. So thank you, Wikipedia. So this is about a person who travels to the African Congo, and the captain, he is ferrying this man, and through the journey the captain is taken into a terrifying trip into his own subconscious, overwhelmed by his menacing, perilous, and horrifying surroundings. So it also deals about hypocrisy, morality, and the dangers of imperialism. So isn't that cool? How about if I read a lot of Joseph Conrad's works and it's just a lot of nautical themes? So if I'm craving a nautical novel, maybe I'll get a Joseph Conrad. I've been doing this the whole time. It's not even on the frame. I'm sorry. But yes, how cool. This actually looks like a Philippine photo. I mean, the palm trees, the river. Yes, I don't mind it. It's not ugly. It's actually pretty cool. It looks very literary fiction-y. So yeah. And then I got Mark Twain's The Prince and the Pauper. So Mark Twain is actually, let me consult my notes. Mark Twain is known as the father of American literature. He wrote Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. And this is actually not like his well-received work. So he's most known for Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, and this was not as good, I think. And so when I read that, I was like, whatever. So basically, it's about the prince and the pauper who look the same, and I assume they trade places. And to be honest, the first time that I saw this, I got this right, and I thought like in my head, I was thinking of the princess and the pea, like the girl with the mattresses and there's a pea at the bottom. I don't know, but yeah. And then I also remembered Princess and the Pauper, Barbie, and so it's based on this, I guess, because then there's a princess and a pauper and they look alike and they trade places. Anyway, this is one of Mark Twain's most infamous works. I really should have read the back. It does say that it's one of his most infamous works, but whatever. Maybe it's gonna be interesting as well. And then the last one, and I am the most excited about this one, I guess I'm as excited about this one as I am with Frankenstein. So it is John Milton's Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained. So I saw this in Emmy's vlog and she described it really beautifully, and I was so enthralled by the premise of this. And it's basically about heaven and Satan and Jesus and Eve and Adam, and basically Satan is seducing Jesus like he's seducing Eve, something like that. And I also think that I saw this in Noelle Gallagher's channel, and she said that Satan was like super sad in this one, and so I am very excited about it. And then when I opened it, I realized that it's actually a poem. So if you want to see, it's like this. So if you weren't aware, like I wasn't aware as well, then now we both are. It's a poem. Probably going to struggle a little bit because of the old English poem things. I already saw some of them, like descends thither with heart and voice and eyes. I mean, I can understand it, but it takes a little bit more of brain power, you know? And also the cover of this is also pretty as well. I got lucky because I have the Dorian Gray Collins Classics edition, and that's just the disrespect. Also, there's a newer cover for that, and it's so much better than the old one, and just the disrespect, the audacity. So look how pretty they are. So if you are also like saving money, Collins Classics are the best. Ooh. So anyway, those are the books that I've hauled recently, and I'm not even mad because they are all very cheap, and I'll probably read this for a long time because they're classics and I have to space them out. So yeah, just wish me luck, and I hope that I like these as much as I liked Wuthering Heights last year and Dorian Gray. So yeah, they're actually sliding so easily because of the plastic, but yeah, so happy. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
정말 감사합니다.